to be sure that this is live. I think we're live. Let me just quickly confirm. Okay. Okay, so I think we're live. Hi, Ijeoma. Hi. Welcome to the live stream. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I guess should we give like a minute or two for more people to tune in?
Okay.
Okay, let's just leave a minute or two. Okay, so I mean, thankfully it's a YouTube live stream, so people will eventually tune in even if they don't tune in now. So, hi everybody, welcome to this live stream on becoming a successful freelancer in 2026. My name is Funo Mondia, and I am a community manager. I will be your host on this call, on this live stream. I have here with me Ijeoma. Hi, Ijeoma. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi. Thank you. How do I pronounce your name? Follow Blong, right?
Yeah, I'm following. You can just call me Bella. That's what everyone
Okay.
calls.
Okay. Hi, Bella. Thank you so much for inviting me to this session. So my name is Ijeoma, and I am a community manager turned program manager. Now I do more of event planning. I'm currently uh, an event coordinator at a startup based in US. Um, I've been freelancing for the past 4 years, and I started freelancing by chance. So I got a client that invited me into the platform. So, but for the past 4 years, I have been freelancing on the side. Even while I have full-time jobs, I still take on more freelancing gigs, and I majorly freelance on Upwork. I have tried other platform, but I feel like it's not really my thing, so I just stuck with Upwork. So yeah, that's it. That's it from my end.
Thank you for sharing. I was going to ask you, like, you said a client invited you to the platform. Are you referring to Upwork?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. Can you, like, tell us about how Upwork is? Like, how is the platform in general? Because I know I've been seeing a lot of comments online. It's so difficult to land clients. It's underrated, I be overrated. There are just too many things that people say. So how is your
Okay,
experience?
well, my experience has been great in the sense that because I've been on the platform for a while, I think I have built a track record of doing great work for my clients, which is very, very important in freelancing because a lot of times clients want to know that you can do their job. They want to see what you've done in the past, right? And so that track record is something I have built over the years. So it makes it easy for me to actually tell a client that I can do this for you and they believe it because when they look at my profile, they see what other clients that have worked with me have to say about my work ethic. So it helps quite a lot. So Upwork is just like any job hunting platform in as much as it's freelancing, but we have millions of people over there struggling and trying to land the same job. It's just like the way we have thousands of people trying to land a full-time role. So but now it's more freelancing, right? So it's short time, although sometimes you could land full-time gigs as well. So now it's you versus millions of other people. But the beautiful thing is I don't think you will find a role that has up to 500 people bidding for it. It's not that competitive like full-time roles that we have out there where companies get to say they had over 800 applicants, 1,000 applicants. It's not like that in freelancing. So because there are roles that I cannot bid for because I feel like it's too small for me, or I don't like it, stuff like that. So it makes it easy for you to bid for these roles and actually stand a chance. But the thing is, you need to be able to know how to position yourself. You need to be able to write proposals that land, proposals that clients will see and want to speak with you. That's where the issue is. A lot of people don't know how to start their proposals in such a way that a client will be, very intrigued to want to learn more about what you have to say. So that's where the issue is. That's why people say it's overrated, it's this, it's that. Just need to learn how the platform works, learn how to optimize your profile, learn how to write cover letters that one clients would want to read and reach out to you to maybe schedule an interview or probably just give you the job on the go. So yeah.
I feel like you have touched my next three questions, but I'm still going to ask them regardless for better context. I know you've talked about how non-competitive, the way people think freelancing is competitive. I know you've touched a little more on that because about it, applying for an actual job and getting a freelance gig, like they are two different things. They're two different things. So I want you to dive a bit deeper on that. Do you think freelancing is becoming harder or more competitive? Because now the job market is so crazy. There are lots of people that are out of jobs. People are being laid off every day, and a lot of people are somehow
Mm.
resorting to becoming freelancers. So do you think that is making the freelance space more competitive?
I think yes, you're right. It's becoming. I think both of them can coexist. It's for it to become harder, it means it's becoming competitive. So that's
Mm,
why it's harder now. So yes, whatever is going on out there is affecting all of us who are in the job market, regardless of the kind of roles they are looking for, whether full time or
yeah.
freelancing. So which means if you are looking for, I mean, I started freelancing because I couldn't land a full time role and I needed to feed. I needed to pay my bills, and I opened an account on Upwork, and luckily for me, in as much as I didn't land my first gig on the platform, it came as a recommendation that we later took onto the platform because we needed to track my time. But after that particular contract, I went ahead to get more contracts, more clients, because I was out there looking for a full-time gig and I wasn't able to find one. They weren't forthcoming. So I was just doing my freelancing and, learning, still trying for full-time gigs. So I think that's what's happening right now. So a lot of people are out of jobs, and it's becoming harder to get full-time gigs and you need to survive. So you see people, there has been an influx of people that are trying to land gigs now on the platform. So people are now say, okay, what do I need to do now? I need to try something. Okay, some people just want to have it as a side hustle. So what if they lay you off, you have something going on for you? I think that's one beautiful thing that freelancing has done for me. Regardless of my employment status, I always have something going on for me. I earn every month, no matter how small. So whether I have a full-time job or not, I always have a contract somewhere that is making me some dollars that I can use to survive while I land something better or something more. So I think that's what people are trying to do now, to see if they can, have something that they can be doing while they land the job of their dreams. So it's becoming more competitive, and the platform also knows that okay, they are rushing us right now. So they are increasing the connects. We have what we call connects, is what you buy to apply for gigs. It's just like having coins. If you're a gamer, you play games, and you need to have coins to be able to do some certain things on the platform. So that's how Connect works on Upwork. You need to have it to be able to apply for jobs. But because of me right now, I've gotten to a certain stage where clients now reach out to me and say, hey, I want this, I want that. Can you do that for me? And if it's something I'm interested in, we can, go ahead, schedule an interview. and they send the offer, or I propose the offer, they accept, and I work on it. And then sometimes clients now invite me to apply for their jobs. So, which means when a client invites you to apply for their job, you're not going to pay for connects. So now the platform already knows that there has been an influx of people. So connects are now quite pricey. Before you could apply for a job with like 10 connects, 5 connects, 8 connects. Now I've seen a connect for like 20, 22, 18, 17. And that's quite a lot because for $9 or about $10, you get like around 80 connects or so. So imagine someone that is on the platform, they want to land, if they want to land a role, and now you are spending money to land roles, and then there's no guarantee that you could, quickly land a role. I had something happen to me um between August to January. I had my I used to call it my drought moments or plateau moments. Nothing was working. I sent nothing less than 60 applications. That's more than hundreds of dollars that I spent sending these applications.
How?
But so go ahead.
Sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around it because I know that you're spending money to be able to access these
Mm,
opportunities, especially on Upwork. Because I know, like, just like
yeah.
I told everyone at the beginning of the live stream, you're the queen of Upwork. So you mean that at that phase of your life, you were spending and hoping?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because the funny thing is, I I think maybe what happened is I positioned myself as a community manager on the platform. So, but then I've done community management for like 3 years, and I think I don't want to do community management anymore. So I'm trying to move over to programs and events. So I start positioning myself like that. So I think it took a while for the algorithm to adjust to what I wanted to do. So I was not getting any views on my profile. Before I could get up to 100 views in a week, and more views means more clients are checking you out, which means something could come from it. Someone could reach out to you, someone could send you an invitation to apply for their job, which you could go ahead and land. So, but this one, nothing was happening. I kept on sending proposals. They view my proposals. Sometimes I go on to have an interview with them, and they end up not proceeding with me or not proceeding at all. So it kept on happening and happening. At the point, it felt like village people. I even I started praying. So see, it's not easy. I started praying. I was like, God, what is happening? And I need money. So, but the beautiful thing was I already had a client on the platform. Like I mentioned, I always have something going on for me. So I do not wait till all my clients are dried up before I start searching for something, searching for more clients. So I
Mhm.
always time myself. I can say, okay, I'm going to take on 2 or 3 clients. So right now that I have a full-time job, I just have one more client on the side that I'm just doing a few hours for in a week or in a month, and I'm still getting paid alongside my full-time because I don't want to overwhelm myself. So that's how I do it. So I make sure I take on roles that I can manage. So if I notice that a client is I have more free time. I try to add more clients. So while I was trying to get those gigs, I already had a client that was just paying me about $100 monthly, and all the money went into me trying to get more gigs. So
Mm.
I'm going to say it really got harder, and it's way harder for new people that are trying to join the platform. But then I think it's all about what you are bringing in. So if you're someone that's already experienced out there, but you've just never tried freelancing, I think you're still going to excel. The only thing you need to do now is to carry all the things that you did out there. Let's say you're an event manager, pack all the events you've hosted, you know, pack all your portfolio and bring it to the platform and start positioning yourself, optimize your profile, learn how to write good cover letters. And clients just want to see what you can do or what you've done in the past. They want someone that can join and hit the ground running. They are not there to onboard you like full-time gigs are going to like do 2 weeks or 1 month on body. No, Upwork clients don't have time. If you can wake up and someone has terminated your offer, it's like that fast. You can
Mm-hmm.
sleep thinking that, oh, I have a job, and you wake up and they've ended your contract like that. So I think if you're experienced, you're still going to excel on the platform. Yeah. Even though it got very competitive now, unlike 2 3 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I do have a follow-up question to that. And I know I
Okay.
have seen I don't know why this is not showing. I'm trying to preview the question. Okay, so I know I have seen one question, a couple of questions in the comments, and we'll get to that. But the question I have, what I'm taking you back now to the very beginning. For people that
Okay. While we wait for her to join,
I think talking of village
um,
people, it happened to me. Can you hear me?
okay, I lost you for a while, but since you're back, please could you repeat the
So
question?
sorry. My
Don't
village
worry.
people
Uh,
for me. Okay, so I wanted to take you back to the beginning because I know that a lot of people have probably heard of freelancing. Maybe they've tried it before, and there's a comment here that says, I have a lot of connects. That this is from Ayodele said, I have a lot of connects that were not in use. I left it because I wasn't getting gigs. And this is something that a lot of people struggle with. Now we're shifting the focus a bit to Upwork. We're going to talk about other things later, but what do you have to say to everyone that falls under that umbrella of, maybe they've signed up on the platform, you've created accounts, probably uploaded some projects that you've worked on before, and maybe just try to set up your account and no gigs. So, how can one better position themselves, or would I say build a portfolio to present themselves as being hireable? Like a client, if I put in a proposal, a client should be able to say, I think I should give this person a shot.
okay. So the thing is, a lot of time, it works for different, different folks with different strokes. How did they say that? I hope I'm correct, right? Some people can come to the platform and under a week they've landed a role, and someone else is taking them months to actually land a client. So a lot of things can come into play. One could be the skill or the service you're trying to deliver. So Upwork is a platform where people come and sell their services, right? So now before I always tell people to probably do like a due diligence. Upwork releases, I think every quarter they release the most in-demand skills on their platform. I think people should read that. It's very, very important to see what clients are out there looking for. And because I always tell people it's not a must that you would do what you do as a professional on Upwork. I've seen people that are maybe medical writers or medical professionals, but what they do on Upwork is just consulting or medical writing. I've seen people that are program managers, but on Upwork, they're just virtual assistants because, yes, we have a lot of clients looking for virtual assistants. And because of that, we've seen an influx of people that want to become virtual assistants. So now what differentiates you from other people is now your experience, how you position yourself, and how you build your portfolio. Even when you have not been hired before on the platform, people still want to know that you can do their job. So what do? You go ahead and build a portfolio that relates to what you want to do. So for someone like me now, before, the portfolio I had was more of community management. So because I started positioning myself as an events manager, I had to start building portfolio that relates to what I do as an event manager. So luckily for me, I always transition what I do out there as a full-time professional or even volunteer work. I bring it over. In 2024, I volunteered as a community manager at GDG Lagos, which meant I hosted some events, hackathons, webinars. I built the community, launched it, did the launch party, stuff like that. So all I did was I had to package all of those things and put it on my Upwork to tell clients that okay, I've done something like this in the past. And even if I didn't do it on the platform, right? It wasn't a client on the platform that hired me. It was just a volunteer gig I did out there. But it's something I have done, and I know that okay, these are services clients are looking for on the platform. I had to package it on my portfolio to say, okay, event manager, this and that. I also did another gig sometime last year. I packaged that as well. Even the programs I manage at Scandium, that was a full-time job I handled. Between 2024 to 2025, I planned some global programs with fellows across 13 countries or so. I packaged that. That was a full-time job. I packaged that as my portfolio and I added it on my profile. So when a client comes, and I know a lot of clients have reached out to me because of all the gigs I have on my profile. So I always tell people to do the same thing. Go ahead and manufacture your own portfolio. Be a virtual assistant, but you've never done virtual assistance before. Go out there, look for what clients would need, or they need to know that you have an expertise. It could be calendar management, bookkeeping, how to use Asana, Notion, Zapier. Do you know how to automate? Your experience with AI tools, stuff like that. Work on these things. You could automate maybe someone registering for an event or someone booking a calendar, and it automatically appears on the email of your client. Various things you can do. And another um, cheat code I always tell people to do is look at people already doing what you want to do on the platform. You can just go ahead and search virtual assistants, event coordinators. What do they have on their profile? What kind of portfolio do they have attached on their profile? And maybe that will give you an insight. Say, oh, I have something like this, so but you do not know. It never occurred to you that okay, you could actually feature something like this on your profile. So when you look at people that are already doing what you're doing, you get to see what their profile looks like, and you draw an inspiration from that. So my the first time I worked on my portfolio or on my profile on Upwork, what I did was I basically opened profile of about 10 to 20 community managers. I looked at them one after the other. As I was looking, I was jotting down things. If I see a phrase that I'm like, wow, this sounds nice, I'll just copy it, keep somewhere. Like that. It's still creatively. I stole from 20 people, and that's how my profile came together. So, and now we have ChatGPT, we have Claude. I tell people to pay for these AI tools. This year I paid for Claude $20, and I have used it to make over $1,000. Yes, just in January. And one of the client was just me helping them optimize their LinkedIn profile. And I basically used Claude to do all of it, all the heavy lifting. So for $20, I've made over how many thousand did I mention, or what percentage returns did I make from that? So I think people should be able to do that. But then if you're just job hunting, you don't have the luxury to start paying for tools. But then you need to use these AI tools to make your life better. You can tell ChatGPT to optimize your profile for you, and it's going to do it. You just need to keep reiterating until you get something better. I hope I answered your question. I tend to move from one thing to the other. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, trust me, you did honest like justice to that. And I also like how you added inserted AI at the end, because like I feel like pay for people that pay for these AI tools are on the higher part of like they stand to benefit more And I'm going to give a typical example. I used to compare Claude, compare Gemini, compare ChatGPT. I just compare, like, anytime I want to do stuff, I use all of them. I use the same prompt and see which one gives me the best. And for some reason, or for the longest time, I didn't exactly like Gemini. Let me just reduce my voice. I didn't exactly like Gemini. Not because it wasn't good, but because I felt like the responses I was getting were not as satisfactory as Claude or ChatGPT. So I stopped. And I think late last month, GDG said, oh, because I'm a GDG organizer. So GDG said, you know what? All GDG organizers were giving you guys access to some tools, Google tools for a year, the pro version. And I'm like, okay, what can I lose? I have access to Gemini now for Pro, and I started using Gemini. Ijeoma, I won't believe that the responses, the things that I have been getting from Gemini are like times 100 of what I used to access with the free version. So like I
Yeah.
totally get when you say you invested $20 on cloud and it's helped you um multiply that money. So if you're watching this, anyone watching this, if you're doubting whether you should pay for any AI, so this is your sign. You've heard it from the horse's mouth. This is your sign. Okay,
Yes.
so let's
The
see.
paid version is way better than the free. I tell you, it's way better. And
Yeah.
see, before I used to just use the cloud free version. But when
Mm-hmm.
I pay for it, it generates a document for me that I just need to open on my Google Drive and I have a full document. Just need to read through it and see if I want to edit anything or something and just download it.
Yeah.
I've used it to prepare for all my interviews and I have gotten to final stages of all of them. I even went ahead to land one. I've used it. If in fact it's awesome. So please, whatever you are getting from the paid version is like 10% of what you will get when you sorry, whatever you're getting from the free version. It's like
Yeah.
10% of what you get when you pay for it, honestly. So if you have the money, go for it.
Yes, yes. If you have the money, go for it. All right. So, let me see. We do have some questions in the comments. So I want to go in there first. Ayo asked if you have any templates. So Ayo, can you, if you're still here, can you expatiate on what you mean by templates? Well, I'm going to assume that this template has to do with sending proposals. So maybe you could touch more on that in terms of sending proposal. Is there a standard template that freelancers follow in sending proposals to clients? Or what's the general, what's your process like? You open up work, what do you do?
Okay. I have before I was using ChatGPT, but now I use Claude. So I have a thread on Claude for all my Upwork proposals. So it already knows how I draft my proposals. And the beautiful thing is, I have been getting interviews these days. Well, since I started using the Claude and the format. So my format is I start with a hook because the way Upwork is structured, a client does not get to see everything you've written in your cover letter. It gets to see like a few lines. So you want to start with a hook that will make them want to say, okay, click more or read more. And that's when your profile, your proposal gets viewed. So on Upwork, we have this thing where if you apply for a gig and a client views your proposal, it's going to notify you that this client has viewed your proposal. So that's like getting you into the compound, but you've not entered the house yet. So when you enter the house is when the client now comes to your DM to say, "Hey, I loved your proposal, and do you have a time to meet to have a quick call?" That's you getting into the house now. So the quick call is now you two of you trying to align, learn more about the rules. That's you getting interviewed. And after that, the clients will now decide if they want to proceed with you and send you the offer or maybe go ahead with someone else. So how your proposal gets viewed is you starting with a hook, something that would get the client intrigued to want to read more. So I always start my proposal with a hook, and then I go ahead to say this is what I'm going to do for you. So which is like the solution. So let's say a client is looking for an event coordinator that would help them coordinate all their events. So I'm going to say, now, so I just mostly copy copy the job posts because I already have a thread. So which means Claude already knows how I structure my proposals. It already knows my voice. It already knows all my experience and how it applies to each particular role. So because I majorly apply for event roles, LinkedIn profile optimization, or maybe LinkedIn content because I'm very active on LinkedIn. I feel like it's something I can do. So whenever I get the chance, I apply for gigs like that. I also apply for program management roles. A little bit of community if the offer is very juicy. I'll say, okay, I do community management in as much as I don't enjoy doing community anymore. But because of the money, let's give it a try. So I fed it my resume and everything I have done. So it has knowledge about my experience. So when I paste a particular job post, it already knows the particular experience that applies to what that client needs. And that's where it comes in after my solution. So I start with the hook, then goes the solution. Then after the solution, I tell you why I'm the right fit. So under that why I'm the right fit, that's where my experience now applies. So Claude already knows the particular experience. And sometimes I go ahead to say, okay, for this particular role, then use my experience planning front end mission, it applies better. So it uses it. Or if it's more of programs, I could say, okay, use my experience as Scandium, and that's what it's going to do. So I just paste it, give it a few prompts, draft me a proposal. Sometimes if I want to start with a particular hook, I can say, hello, this, because I always try to. Another thing is when you are sending a proposal on Upwork, you want to look at the reviews of the client. If it's already an existing, sometimes if it's a new client, you may not get to see their name, right? But if it's an existing client, so which means some freelancers have worked with them, and from the reviews, you could see a freelancer saying, "Oh, it was great working with Chris." You already know that okay, this client's name is Chris. So when you're not drafting your proposal, you start with "Hello, Chris," stuff like that. It's something that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people do it, but anything to get ahead, right? So you just have to do it. So when you do that, so I'd be like, "Okay, hello, Chris." I write my hook. I always start with a different hook. I always start with a different hook as it relates to, but sometimes when I'm blank, I just let Claude do the writing. And when I see what it gets for me, and I'm like, okay, this looks good, I just copy it, paste on Upwork, and adjust my rating, my rates. So I currently have $25 per hour as my rate. It was $30 sometime last year, but when I was desperate looking for gigs, I had to reduce it. So we have to keep trying things and see what works. So I adjust my rate depending on some clients. You apply for a role and the client's budget is like $50 to $100 and your rate is at 25. You're cheating yourself, so you might just want to move it up a little bit. So you have to adjust your rate, and then there is this part that says I would have shared my screen, but since we're having a conversation, so you can now adjust whether
I
you
think at
want
some
an
point you will
increase.
need to.
So you can now share whether you want an increase over a time frame. Could be 6 months, could be 1 year, and how many percent increase you want. And then underneath, you're going to see the bidding parts. You see people bidding for 5 connects. I rarely bid. I don't like bidding. I feel like it's a waste of time. So you know, I only bid when I know that I am very overqualified for what the client is looking for. And I'm trying to tell them, say, you need to look at my profile or you need to look at my proposal. You it's me you're looking for, stuff like that. So it has to come with a lot of confidence. But I see freelancers that you are new on the platform, you need to save your connects and you are bidding. What are you bidding for? So I feel like that's it. You can use AI to make your life better. You just need to train it. And it's good because another thing is speed. The speed you apply for gigs, because as you are seeing a particular job post, thousands of other people are seeing it too. So as fast as you can get in your proposal, it helps too, because it might just be just let me just write this proposal, and when you're back, 10 or 15 people have already applied. So yeah.
Okay, so I know you've said that if you're new, let me try to quote you. If you're new on the platform, I don't know what you're bidding for. How do you? I think there's someone that asked a question as regards to that. So if I'm not bidding, let's say I joined for the first time. If I'm not bidding, if I'm not buying connect to bid for gigs, what am I supposed to be doing?
Okay. First thing first is connect is very important. You need to have connects to bid, because it's something you cannot do without. You need to have connects to bid. If you don't have, you need to buy. But there are situations where you don't have connect. The only thing now is you need to be very observant, and it's maybe a stroke of luck, because most it's not every time that you're going to see clients that have all their details spelled out for you. Let's say, for example, there was a time I applied for an event coordinator role with Hacking HR. So they already mentioned that Hacking HR is looking for this. I already know that, okay, Hacking HR is the people that are looking. It's a big organization. You can even find them on LinkedIn. So sometimes these big organizations like Dev Connect, the other day, I applied for an event coordinator role at Dev Connect that I really wanted to get, but they ended up hiring someone else. I was like, no, I was very qualified for this. And if you're very active on the tech space, you will know Dev Connect. They are big. They host a lot of developer conferences out there. So you already know that, okay, this is Dev Connect. So all you need to do is now go to the review section and see the name that comes up a lot, like people saying it was great working with Dave, it was great working with Dave. So you already know that, okay, it's Dave from Dev Connect. You now go on LinkedIn and start looking for Dave from Dev Connect. And maybe me, I have Apollo attached to my LinkedIn, which means if I'm viewing your profile and you have your email somewhere, Apollo automatically shows your email to me, so I can easily take your email and send you a code email. I have done that a lot. I There was a client I did that for, and they replied and they were like, okay, your profile is what we are looking for. The only issue is that we are looking for someone based in US. So now I know that it's not on me, it's location. So that's what you can do when you don't have connects. You need to start looking to find the details that you can work with. So maybe when you go on LinkedIn, you now have to send an outreach email to them saying, hey, I saw the job you posted on Upwork, but I do not have connects to apply, blah blah blah. You can share your resume, share your experience. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just have to keep trying. I have a friend that did something like that, and the client was like, wow, you have the experience we are looking for. So if you can send a proposal on Upwork, we are going to hire you. She had to quickly go and buy Connect and apply for that job, and she got it. So, a lot of things can work. You just need to keep trying, and that's what has worked for me. I try out a lot of things, especially when I'm desperate. Jesus, you don't want to see me when I'm desperate. I do a lot of things. I even have I even have Mailer Lite on my email, which means if I send you a cold email and view it, it's going to notify me that you viewed my email. So I know that, okay, this person has viewed my email. I'll now decide whether I want to double down or not. Stuff. So you need to what's the word I'm looking for now? You need to leverage a lot of tools out there, the free versions, to get ahead. So you never know what's going to work for you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So speaking of um bidding for roles and yeah, speaking of bidding for roles and gigs, what's your take on pricing? I know that there are some projects that the clients would say, my budget is $500, my budget is 1,000, and obviously there are other people that will apply for that role, and you don't want to undersell yourself by charging too low. At the same time, you also don't want a situation where it feels like someone else is beating you to it. So let's say, you say this is the amount you'd get, and someone else gives something low, and the client ends up going with that person. How do you handle situations like that around pricing?
Well, at the end of the day, there is so much you can do. You just have to try because you don't know what's happening behind the scenes, right? So something happened to me. I There was a client that wanted me to optimize their profile for them. So when I sent my bid, I used ChatGPT sorry, I used Claude to work on that bid. So I basically fed it what the client was looking for, and I told it to come up with a bid for me. So I told it to come up with a bid for me, and it came up with $750. So I was like, and this is a new client, so there is no way for me to judge how much their spending power. Sometimes when a client have stayed long time on the platform, when you go to their review, you see average what they pay. So you now have you have a knowledge, or yes, you have a knowledge of what they can pay. So you see a client that their average pay is like $50 to $60. Okay, this is a high spender, so it helps you position yourself. But if you see a client that is always paying $9, $10, for clients like that, I am way above $9 now. So there is nothing you want to offer me at $9 or $10, I'm going to agree. The least I can do is 15, maybe because I'm very desperate and I need something. So when you see clients like that, I know that okay, these are not my type of clients. So I just leave them maybe for the entry level people, the beginners on the platform, so people like that. But when a client is new, you don't have all this information. So you just have to go with your gut feeling and what you feel like you deserve, and coupled with what you want to do for them. So for this particular client on my the LinkedIn optimization, because I use Claude said, okay, we are going to give you a 30-day content calendar. We are going to optimize your LinkedIn banner. What else did I say I was going to do for them? I was going to draft a competitor analysis, employee advocacy handbook. It was not my idea. It was Claude's idea, but I ran with it because it made a lot of sense. And I said, for all these things, what we can charge is $750. So I felt like $750 might be too much for this client. I don't know their budget. So I was like, okay, let's leave it at 500. And that was what I did. Immediately, this client sent offer. And I'm like, and then I
And
started feeling like,
what you were thinking, did I shoot myself?
exactly. I said to like, maybe I went down too low. I would have left it at 750. But the funny thing is, probably because that was their budget. So
Mm,
it's just like it rhymed, and they were like, okay, let's do this. So probably if I did that 750, I may or may not have gotten it. It could be way above their budget. And because sometimes you don't communication is, some clients, they may not want to start going back and forth with you to say, this is way above our budget. They'll just go ahead with the next person. And the funny thing is, you don't know what the next person is offering. The next person could be offering the same thing at a lower budget, or
mhm,
way more at a lower budget, stuff like that. So I feel like it's a little bit of luck because you never can tell, honestly. So you just
mm,
need to do what is right by you. So when a client accepts it, you go ahead, so you don't start feeling like, I underprice myself, or with that mindset you will not do a good job. So me, I know that 500 was a good deal because I wasn't the one that was going to do the job, right? It was Claude that helped me. All I did was just review whatever he gave me. Then the banner, of course, I designed it by myself. and I did some content calendar. I did some carousel samples for them that they could use going forward, some designs, and even the 30-day content calendar because their industry is very niched. They're into robots and stuff, and I don't have any idea of robots and whatever. So, which means I used Claude to even generate a content calendar. All I did was open the document on my web and review and added it to the to the Google Drive folder that I created for them. So all I'm going to say is be based on what you want to deliver and based on your worth as a professional. And then that's it. So it's either it works or it doesn't.
All right, thank you for sharing. This is a 1 hour session and this competition is going great. So, for everyone watching, if you have any more questions for Ijoma, now is the time. Please drop it in the comment section. I'm just going to go over a few more questions that I have, and then if you would like to share your screen and walk us through what your process on Upwork is like, that would also be fine. So my next question is about skills. So most people think that for freelancing, you need to have one particular skill, or you need to build a high income skill first because that's what clients are looking for. So what's your take on that? Do you think freelancers should, learn multiple skills and put them on their portfolio, their freelance portfolio, or should they just target one high income skill?
I feel like you can do whatever you want to do, to be honest. And Upwork even knows that's why we have specialized profiles. So you can have, aside your main profile, you can have two more profiles where you get to display some other skills that you have. So for me, I have my general profile and I have a profile just for social media management because as a community manager, you wear a lot of hats, and in that process, I do a little bit of social media management. So I have a profile for that. I have a profile for community management, and I also have so for my social media is combined with graphics design. So which means if I'm doing social media management for you, I'm going to do both your graphics for you. And last year I had a client that paid me over 4,000 just for me to handle their socials. And it's a part-time gig, so I was doing I think 4 or 5 hours a week or so. So yeah, so I feel like you can do whatever you want to do. If you have lots of skills, you can just pick two or three that you feel like clients are always in need of and add it to your profile. You can also decide to say, okay, oh, it's only AI automations I want to do and stick to that. And maybe tomorrow, when you're tired of doing AI automations, you want to go into AI agents building or software engineering. You can start positioning yourself for that as well. All you need to do is optimize your profile, picking the relevant skills or yes, picking the relevant skills. We have what we call skills on the platform. It helps to um, streamline or tell the algorithm the type of gigs you are looking for, so it brings them to your feed. So I feel like you can actually do whatever you want to do, to be honest. So whatever works for you. If you want to stick to just one high income role, that's fine. If you want to diversify all your roles, which means that you can do a little bit of virtual assistant, do program management, do this, do that, that's fine. The most important thing is how you sell yourself, and that's one skill you need to have to excel on Upwork. You need to be able to sell yourself. You need to be able to sell your skills. You need to convince people that you know how to do this thing. So if you've cracked that part, then I mean you're very good. You are good. Because clients just want, tell them what they need to hear. They want to understand that you know what they are looking for and you can solve their problem for them. And then you're good to go.
Hi Ijoma. I think your network is also misbehaving. For those you watching, can you drop in the comments if you can still hear her or if it's just my network? Let me give it a few seconds.
Ah, what is happening?
I
Please,
think,
can you hear me?
yeah, but it's breaking. I don't know if it's just me. Is it network? Is it StreamYard? I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay, it's back now.
clearly.
It was breaking a lot.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
All right. So I do have another question for you. What myths about freelancing are still misleading people today? I mean, there are lots of people that still want to go into freelancing, but they're like, "Hmm, I'll pass."
Um, well, people feel it's hard, and that is not a myth. It's actually hard. Um, is there any myth I am aware that are misleading people? Another thing is it's you can try freelancing. It's freelancing is it refers to you just roles that are not full time, right? More like short term, part time, gigs that you can do. You're not tied to a particular organization. Please, can you hear me? I think Bella is frozen on my screen, so I want to make sure that everybody can still hear me. Please, can anyone hear me? I think Bella can't, but I want to know that it's not my network. If you can hear me, just a thumbs up or an emoji. Okay, okay, okay. Someone can hear me. Okay, I'm going to continue with the question why she tries to come back on. So, what myths about freelancing are still misleading people? Yes. So I think you can try freelancing in a lot of platforms. If Upwork is not working for you, you can try Fiverr. You can try people per hour. I wanted to try people per hour the other day, and they were like they had a lot of people trying to sign into the platform. Like create an account, so they couldn't um process my registration at that time. I was like, whoa, that one is people's business. I just wanted to try it out. So all I'm going to say is you don't need to stick on Upwork. So I'm currently mentoring about 30 people in collaboration with University of Michigan. So we are trying to help more Africans land a freelance gig. Yes, freelance gigs. So, and I have a student or a mentee that went ahead to land a gig on Fiverr that paid over 1.5, and that was sometime in September or October. And this person has been struggling to land a role on Upwork, but she did it effortlessly on Fiverr. So if Upwork is not working for you, you can try other platforms as well. You can even position yourself as a freelancer on LinkedIn, on Twitter, without even, and be getting clients there. You can even go as far as doing cold emailing, reaching out to clients to sell yourself, stuff like that. And you don't necessarily need to stick to a particular platform. I stuck with Upwork because it's working for me, and I didn't have the bandwidth to start checking other platforms, coupled with the fact that I do full-time gigs as well. So I'm going to say don't stick to a particular platform. Try other platforms till you find something that works for you. So if Upwork sticks, and another thing people need to be aware of is don't build over reliance on a particular platform. You could violate their rules and they suspend your account, and that's it. You now have to either start building a new account from scratch, or trying another platform. So it's just like building your castle on a rented land. So yes, while freelancing is good, there are risks as well, a lot of risks. So you need to be aware of that. While you're working, you should save up a lot as well. And if you want to do freelancing full time, then you need to build processes that would help you build a career as a freelancer, which means your gigs are not just coming from a particular platform. They come from everywhere. They could come from LinkedIn. They could come from Twitter. They could come from other freelancing platforms. But if you're doing it as a side gig like me, then so if you are doing it as a side gig like me, then that's fine. So for me, I my goal has never been to become a full-time freelancer. So it's something I do to get by, to have something going on. Because we all know the tech industry that you can wake up one day and they've laid you off. So so yeah, okay, my Melissa said I think one mate I know as someone who freelanced at the time is at the moment is that it's a quick scheme to make cool cash. That thing is hard. Yes, freelancing is hard. So don't think it's something that you just come and pia, you've landed one gig. It could work for you, it may not. So it's hard though. It's very hard. I mean, it's hard. Especially for new people joining the platform, yes, it can be hard. So I'm not going to promise you that you are going to land the gig on that 1 week. Although some people do, but you know, different strokes for different folks. Thank you, Angie, for putting that there. So yeah,
Different strokes for different folks, indeed. Okay. All right. So there's a question from someone in the comments. When did you start and when did you get your first gig?
okay. I think I registered on the platform sometime in 2022, early 2022, when I was job hunting because I originally moved from an accounting background to tech and I landed a role immediately I moved, but they laid me after 2 months, and that was when I entered the real trenches. I was looking for gigs, I was crying. See, I would cry. My neighbors would come outside to say, what is happening? It was so bad.
Oh my
So
god.
at that point, I started trying out a lot of things. I think that was when I heard about Upwork. And if you know me, you know that I'm someone that tries a lot of things. I try a lot of things, and I'm very proud of myself for that. So I registered on the platform, but somebody that I've not even seen money to feed, where would they see money to buy connect? I think at that time Upwork gives free connects. Yes, so if you're new on the platform, they give you a certain number of connects. I think 40 at the time, just for you to get started. So I used it to apply for gigs, but nothing happened. So I still went ahead to be looking for my full-time internship gigs. I ended up landing one. And after 3 months, I had a few dollars that I could use to get by. And then, luckily for me, I went for one networking session for community managers, and I met a lot of friends. And I told them that I'm currently looking for gigs and stuff. And that was when someone got a recommendation, or they reached out to someone that also came to that hangout to do like as a community manager, and they referred me. And the lady just came to me and was like, okay, someone referred you to me. And yeah, we went on a call and she hired me. And because the gig was, contract or part time. So we needed a platform where we can track my working hours. And she was like, okay, let's move it to Upwork. So she went ahead and hired me on Upwork, and that was how I got my first gig. I went ahead to do that gig for 10 months, and she left me an awesome review. And I think that review carried me over the years. So, which means that a lot of clients wanted to work with me because of what that lady said about her working experience with me. So yeah, that was how I got my first gig on the platform. It came outside the platform and I took it over to the platform and I started building from there. Okay, while we are waiting for Bella to join, I think this streaming is almost over. We are 1 hour done. Okay, do we still have any questions? Okay, Mary Blessing said I'm a student of Ijeoma's teachings and as well. And yeah, it took me months to get my first gig. Yeah, it takes some people months to actually land their first gig. So I'm going to say, you need to try your best. If it's something that if you don't have a choice, you need to try. But if you have a choice, you could, abandon it because you have something that's working for you. But if you don't have anything working for you, then you need to try your best. And then another thing is referrals to work. If you have a friend that is a freelancer and you are doing the same thing, let's say as I'm a community manager and I have a community manager friend that is struggling on the platform, I do refer my friends too. And sometimes they go ahead to land the role. Yes. So someone can actually help you do that as well. So it's just like someone speaking up for you, saying, okay, I'm not available to take on this role, but I could refer this person to you. And depending on how you put in the word for them. So I don't just put in the word for just anybody. I know, okay, if I'm referring you, I know that you can actually do this job. So yeah, that could work as well. Okay, I see you're back.
Yes, thank you so much. And I hope everyone listening has gained and lots of tips and tricks on how to succeed as a freelancer. I think just one final question I have, and maybe you can just conclude with that and maybe add like key takeaways would be what you think freelancing looks like, what will look like in 2026, and maybe you can just make a little comparison of how it was 3 to 5 years ago, because I know people that started freelancing, I feel like people that started way earlier saw the lights and a lot of people now that are trying to break in are kind of struggling. So yeah, that's
Okay. Well, what does freelancing really look like in 2026 compared to 3 to 5 years ago? So yes, 2026, the only thing is AI. AI is doing a lot for us now. AI can help you land gigs. I think that's one huge factor that is quite different from whatever we were doing 3 to 5 years ago. So now you can use AI, and a lot of clients are not, what's the word I'm looking for now? They are not against AI. In fact, some clients are looking for people that actually know how to use AI to streamline their job. So clients are looking for people that can use AI now. They even go as far as asking during your interviews or in the roles, your experience using AI tools. Can you use AI to automate a lot of tasks? How do you use AI, in your daily work? They want to know all these things because if you know how to use AI, it helps you to do things faster. So let's say something you would have done it for, let's say, in 3 hours, AI can help you do it in 10 minutes. That's 2 hours plus of time that you've saved for yourself and for that client. So clients really want to see freelancers that can leverage AI to deliver their roles faster. So unlike 3 to 5 years ago, people were just doing stuff, just trying their best. AI wasn't the shit back then, unlike now. So I feel like that's one thing that really changed. So I'm going to say if you want to start freelancing in 2026, you need to know how to leverage a lot of AI tools, especially how it applies to your particular skill or yes, the particular service you want to render. So for someone like me, I use Claude a lot to set up different documents I use for my events management processes. I ask Claude a lot of questions. How do I set up this on Luma? How do I do that? You also need to be able to, okay, I even use Notebook KLM to prepare slides as fast as possible. Um, so you need to know how to use AI to do stuff. So let's say you're a virtual assistant, you can use AI to automate a lot of processes for you. You can even use Notion AI to set up a lot of wikis and tables, board and stuff. And yeah, so you need to be able to do that. I think that's it. Does anyone still have any more questions to ask? Looking on the chat now. Okay, Bella is here.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Ijeoma, and thank you everyone for joining today's live stream. I hope you did learn a lot. And if you have any more questions, you can always send that. Connect to Ijeoma on LinkedIn and X. I know from time to time she shares some tips and tricks here and there on the timeline. And I hope that this live stream serves as an eye opener to
Hmm. Okay.
uh my network just pushed me out again. Oh my god. All right. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you all enjoyed this session and see you in the next one. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Ijoma. Bye.
Bye.